Hello everyone. This video is on how to create the SSI seasonal forecast. We're going to start with a forecast model. So this is the model that I've created for UTX. The red dots here show where my forecasts are. Blue dots are my actual sales. I've decided on using one X variable and then one interactive X and a second interactive X. These are my dummy variables that I'm going to interact with, so just to take a quick look at it. This generates two slopes. First slope is matching my early data. The second slope, where I'm using the dummy here between 2003 and 2016, picking up this high sales ratio. And I'm not including it for the last three observations because I want my forecasts to kind of run out that line of the last three. So the idea here is, even though I'm introducing higher standard error by not modeling this slope exactly, I'm getting a better trend line for my forecast, which is exactly what we're trying to do. Forecast or trend line or future sales. So first step is to go ahead and download the data as we showed in class, and I'll post a short video on that. Second step is to go ahead and plot your quarterly sales data. This is the slow growth area for UTX. This is the higher growth area for UTX. Since I'm not anticipating in the near future slow growth but high growth, I want to get rid of all my data before. It's the slow growth period, which would be to the second quarter. I would include the third quarter of 2003, right around here, there, and on forward for my model. Okay, and just as a quick note, you'll notice that again I'm probably going to have high errors here and high errors here. That's fine because I want my forecast to be good. When I get to the end, my quarterly forecast should be better. Alright, so I've created my plots. I've selected my data. I come to my SSI model. I want the year, the quarter year, and the quarterly sales data. On the data page, these blue columns are the ones that I want to copy over one at a time. And then I just want to delete the data from 1993 on because I'm not using it in my model. In order to get my sales forecast, which is the next table I'm going to be working on, which is the next table that I'm going to be working on. All I want to do is get my X value, my XA, XB, and the two interactive dummy variables that I'm interested in. Just take a quick look. This is the equation I'm using. It's the truncation of my Z plus 1 divided by 4. That's because I'm starting in the third quarter. If you're starting in the fourth quarter, you'll just modify this equation a little bit. The comma 0 says I only want the integer part of it, and then I'm adding 11 to it because that's where the number for 2003 is. I go ahead and drag that down, and by making it an equation, I get 4 12s and 4 13s and 4 14s. Nice and simply. Your other options, just go ahead and type them in. My interaction variables are with my dummies. I just type my dummies in. You'll notice that D1 is 0 all the way through. That's fine. We're creating a model here. So if in the future I expected low growth forecast as opposed to the high growth sales forecast, then I would set dummy 2 equal to 0 and dummy 1 equal to 1, and that would adjust my forecast for the two growth patterns that I've observed in the historic data. To generate our sales forecast, I've brought over my annual sales line estimation. So in order to do that, we'll just come here, you'll highlight, Control C to copy, and then come back to your page, and then you're just going to go ahead and paste the values in, and then we'll use each one of those values. Delete that as I don't need it. In order to do the actual forecast, and I'll type it in here real quick, it's equal to my annual, my intercept. I hit F4 to lock it in, plus my X, hit F4 to lock it in, multiplied by the X value, plus my XA, F4 multiplied by my value of XA. Now I know it's always going to be 0, but I want a model that is adaptable, so I'm going to go ahead and include it. And then I'm going to add to that my XB and $F4 to lock it in, and back and click on my XB. So this becomes my estimate. Apparently I've entered one number slightly off. Anyway, so that's the basic model or method that you're actually going to use. I'm just going to drag the correct equation up one. There we go. To get the ratio, it's pretty straightforward. Double click here. It's just going to be quarterly sales divided by the forecast value. Type it in, drag it down. You're good to go. To get the SSI, it is just the average of all the quarterly sales data. What we'll do for that is turn our sort filter on. We'll go ahead and set our filter so that we're looking at our first quarter that we have up here. For me, it's Q3. For you, it might be a different quarter. So here's our Q3 set up. In order to get this one, we just type in average. For example, we just say that it's equal to the average, and then pick the ratio, and comma, ratio, comma, ratio, comma. Ratio, comma. And end it with a parenthesis. So that creates the average all the way down. Turn your filter off. And then you'll just drag this one down 4 spaces. You'll notice that it copies down and creates the correct average. And then here, we just want to set it equal to the third quarter again, because I'm in the third quarter. And then once you do that one equation, drag it all the way down. Our quarterly forecast is simply going to be the sales forecast multiplied by the SSI. And then our error here is simply the actual quarterly sales forecast minus the actual quarterly sales minus the forecast quarterly sales. And then finally, to get our Z, what you do is I'll just do it. So here we're just setting it equal to our Z1, and then we're subtracting from that the average of all the Z's. So I highlight all the Z's, got 34 of them, end it with a parenthesis, and then I want to come back here and make sure that it doesn't move. So F4 and F4, return, and then you would just drag that down. And I'm going to stop the video here because it's been having a few problems with anything over 10 minutes. I'm not quite sure why. But I will start another one, and we'll finish up the standard errors, the limits, and the range. Thank you.